Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my review of Justice League #1. So after a great deal of build-up and a lot of excitement, Scott Snyder's Justice League is finally here. The first issue came out last week, and on the whole, I quite enjoyed it. There's a certain amount of loftiness to the whole thing, the way the Hall of Justice is described, bringing what resembles a smile to Batman's face is a little bit hokey, but on the whole it's a polished intro to a new series that has me pretty excited for what's to come. The biggest feature has to be Lex Luthor and his new Legion of Doom. Though they don't have a lot to do just yet in this story, their intro is phenomenal, and Luthor ultimately takes over Vandal Savage and his fortress and Little Injustice gang with his new Legion, executing the man on the spot while declaring that he's stowed away dozens of weapons from the future within the fortress that Vandal Savage had built, along with some sort of monster in the basement that I'm sure we're going to get a good glimpse of in the future. It's a lot of exciting stuff, along with the direct consequence of DC Metal in play, namely some sort of energy that is burst from the source wall that has a hole in it thanks to the events of DC Metal, is surging towards Earth, and something's gonna happen. We don't know what it is. It's hinted that it might bring doom, and the Martian Manhunter is given a very disturbing vision about that as this form of energy rockets towards Earth at the end of this issue. Following up on the No Justice story, Martian Manhunter and Lex Luthor very much are the main characters of this story, and that's great. And the two feel like interesting characters that can carry this series along with the cool host of heroes and villains attached to their respective teams. Both seem almost necessary for what's to come as we get closer and closer to these doomsday events. Luthor isn't really a straightforward villain in this series, but he's not exactly a hero either. He's just willing to cross lines that the Justice League and Martian Manhunter simply aren't willing to go there with. So in spite of some minor issues I have with some of the storytelling, it's a wonderful start to this series, has a lot of promise and wonderful artwork accompanying it. The differences between these two characters is felt throughout this story and feels like it's going to be a driving force of this narrative. But both are very interesting and feel like they can carry this in a lot of ways. Luthor is conniving and intelligent as always, and ready to tackle these events head on. His Legion of Doom is interesting, and it's fun to have the Joker in the mix as well. Meanwhile, the Martian Manhunter feels like a solid driving force of this narrative. It's a little insane how in this one issue the moon is apparently destroyed and the Martian Manhunter had to do so in order to save the Earth, but it showcases the alien's sheer power quite nicely. And make no mistake, he is powerful. It's cool seeing him use his mind to work with the entire Justice League team in a way that no other leader really could. And the telepathic conference he holds with the heroes is a very interesting feature. Even though they're all just basically standing around and talking to one another, and it gives you a sense of what they're like as a team, but otherwise it's just delivering a bunch of exposition, it's an interesting setting and is a very cool way of doing things. They're all on different parts of the Earth when this conversation is happening, but they have this conversation together thanks to the Martian Manhunter's powerful mind. It's cool that he's this protagonist and Luthor doesn't really have any powers and serves as the antagonist, so we have a better sense of what's going on in our hero's head, but it's not the typical setup. Our hero is much stronger than the villain. In a lot of ways, Luthor is the underdog in all of this, so I can see myself in some ways rooting for him in the Legion at certain moments. On the whole, I really like this first issue and think it's a pretty strong start to Justice League as a whole. It's not perfect, and like I said, there's some hokey moments here and there. I have a feeling that Snyder just really needs to find his footing with this team setting, and once he does, it's going to be some pretty phenomenal stuff. It's important to remember that this guy changed Batman in lots of helpful little ways and brought a lot of new and interesting ideas into the mix. Hopefully he does the same with the Justice League. So let me know what you think in the comments section below, and thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to check out our Patreon page in the video description below. Finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.